Welcome everyone to Legally Speaking. I'm Kenya Johnson.
And I'm Sonia Brown. Legally Speaking is brought to you by the Georgia Association of Black Women Attorneys, GABWA. GABWA is a voluntary bar association who seeks to advocate for women and children and empower our communities. Remember, this show is not intended to give legal advice, so if you have any legal issues or concerns, it's important for you to consult an attorney.
Have you ever thought about being a lawyer? Ever considered going to law school? Well, today's show is for you. The topic, Law School 101. We will hear from an admissions counselor from a law school that will tell you what schools are looking for in prospective students. We'll also hear from a financial aid advisor that'll give you tips on how to finance a law school education. We'll also hear from a recent law graduate who's preparing to take the bar exam and a current law student.
With several law schools in the metro Atlanta area, there are many options to explore law school on a full or part-time basis.
Everything you could need to know about law school coming up after the break on Legally Speaking. On June 24, 2000, GABWA and the Fulton County Juvenile Court, with the assistance of the Georgia Supreme Court Commission on Equality, began its award-winning Sister to Sister mentoring program. Sister to Sister's mission is to intervene in the lives of teen girls ages 13 through 17 and help keep them out of the juvenile justice system by providing nurturing, one-on-one mentoring relationships. If you'd like to learn more about Sister to Sister, please visit the website at sistertosistermentoring.org.
Welcome back to Legally Speaking. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sonia Brown. Today's show, Law School 101. Our guests today are Denienne Steel, an admissions counselor at Georgia State University's College of Law, and Montre Everett, a financial aid counselor at Atlanta's John Marshall Law School. Thank you to both of you for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Before we get into Law School 101, what it takes to get into and get through law school, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do?
Well, thanks for having me. My name is Denienne Steel. I went to Spelman College for undergrad. I attended Georgia State University College of Law for law school and currently work as an admissions coordinator. I help prospective students get through the process, what they need to do for law school, admitted students make sure they're making the right decision, what they need to get enrolled, and once they're there, help them out. Law school's a very hard time. I've been there, so I try to counsel them as well while they're current students.
Wonderful. Sounds like you have a lot on your plate. And Montre, what is it that you do as a financial aid counselor?
Well, as a financial aid counselor, my main job is to make sure that we provide the financial needs of the students, whether it be for tuition, but also for their personal living expenses as well. Law school can be expensive, as you probably know. But we want to, in our department, we just want to make sure that those financial burdens are a little bit more easy to adhere to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Well, let's get right into it, and let's start at the beginning. I get the question all the time, what should I major in undergrad? What should be my area of study if I want to go to law school? Denienne, can you expound on that? Is there the perfect major?
There is not. You should major in whatever your interest is, because your major doesn't matter, but your GPA does. Okay. Typically, if students are majoring in an area that they're extremely interested in, they're going to do better. They're going to focus more in school, have better relationships with their professors, and therefore have better letters of recommendation as well. A lot of people 17, 18 going into college, we know you might not know what that area is that you want to get into, and that's fine. Switching your major is fine. everyone goes through those trials and tribulations in school, but never go into a major for the purpose of going to law school. Because in the end, you might decide after 4 years, law school isn't your long-term goal, and you didn't get everything that you could have gotten out of the college experience because you were so focused on law school and not currently what makes you happy, what's your interest.
Okay, great. And that's getting ready for the starting off the process. And with that process and starting off, money comes in as well. The law school application can get pretty pricey if you want to apply to more than one law school.
Yes.
What are some of the ways that students can save money or prepare for applying to the law schools they want to apply to?
Well, I recommend that students do their research first and find the law school that best fits them. It's normally more cost effective to apply directly to the law school of their choice, such as at John Marshall Law School. Our application fee is just $50. And if a student is interested in our new Savannah campus, the application fee can be waived if they use our new mobile app by using their smartphone or their iPad or some type of tablet. So we do have ways and options to make it affordable for them to apply. There are services out there, if they do their research on the internet, that gives them the opportunity to apply to a multitude of schools at one time. Those application fees normally cost more upwards into $150 to $200.
Okay. So there are different ways you can go about because the financial process starts at the beginning.
Absolutely.
And again, there's the application, there's picking the major, and there's what we call, or I call, the dreaded LSAT. that three-digit number that we're looking at when trying to get into law school. Denienne, can you talk to us about the LSAT, what that is, and what you as an admissions coordinator is looking for when someone's applying to law school?
Okay, it's the law school version of the SAT, except it's not a common sense test. Someone can have straight A's all through high school, all through college, and still not perform well on the LSAT because it's not necessarily a knowledge-based test. It's testing skills, critical skills, reading comprehension, analytical skills, skills that you'll need to be a lawyer. And not everyone has developed those, so it's really a test that you need to study for, especially under timed conditions, and prepare to know the tricks of the test. There's ways to read the reading comprehension section. There's ways to set up the logic game section that'll just help you be better prepared to take the actual test. Law school to law school, the range of scores that they're looking for is going to vary. 150 is the median. You always want to know what your top school is. Go for above what their median is to set yourself up well. Because if you aim high for your highest school, then all the other schools on your list will be taken care of also. You'll see where you are on your practice exams, and please take practice exams to kind of see where you are. And then sometimes not everyone needs to take a prep class, but some people do. If you've taken some test on your own, you can say, okay, I'm not where I need to be for the schools that I want to go to. Maybe I need some help. And then you can go and look for, there's several different types of prep classes, and see the one that's conducive to your learning style, and take that prep class to do as well as you can for this test, because it is a big part of your application for any school. And you want to do as well as possible, not just to get in, but to also get scholarship money.
Okay, good point. I want to talk about scholarship money, but I want to briefly touch, you said the application. What are you looking for when someone applies? We talked about the GPA. We've talked about the LSAT. What else? I know that personal statement comes into play at some point.
Yes, the personal statement I like to tell students is the last question in a job interview. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. The application's pretty generic. Test scores are test scores, GPA is GPA. But we don't know anything about you. What are you bringing to our class? What motivates you to go to law school? What motivates you to be the person that you are? Is it a person? Is it something good that's happened in your life? Something bad that's happened in your life that you have to overcome? Do you not know why you want to go to law school, but there's just this passion in you, and you feel like law school's the avenue that you need to take to get to that next step? And that's what we want to know. What are you going to bring to our class besides just the numbers and the LSAT score, which are important, But we know that's not the complete applicant, just like the letters of recommendation. We want to know what other people think about your work habits, who you are you an ethical person? We'll rather the secretary for the job that really knows you and can really tell us who you are as a person to write the letter of recommendation than the CEO who just sees you dropping something off and can't really do anything but have the big title on. We'd rather have the 2-page letter of recommendation that tells us everything about you. They're signing their name to verify that they believe you can do it. And those speak volume over someone that has a big title. So we look at that complete application.
Excellent. The whole person you want in law school to contribute to what's going on. So, Montre, I've got the major, I've got the GPA, I've taken the LSAT, letters of recommendation, my application, I've gotten into law school. I want to talk to you about two things. One, we know John Marshall's a private institution,
Yes.
Georgia State's a public institution. What are the differences in cost? And then how can I pay for law school?
Well, with a state-funded institution, it's exactly what the name entails. It's funded by the state government and the local taxpayers of that state. So the difference with that, with a private school like John Marshall Law School, is that the overhead, the day-to-day operation costs, the teacher salaries, the educational programs that we provide are all funded through the tuition amounts that the students pay. So that's the main difference. But the best way to pay for law school is 2 avenues: through scholarships, and there's financial aid loans. Unfortunately, on the graduate level, there are no federal grants, but there is enough in financial aid loans on the federal level to definitely help students pay for their education.
So we're talking about paying and paying back. We get out of school, everybody wants to get the job with the big bucks, but a lot of us that go into public service, what can public interest attorneys, are there any avenues out there to help public interest attorneys pay for law school once they finish, like loan forgiveness or anything like that?
Absolutely. The federal government has a great program for those students who are interested in the public interest sector. If they decide to go into public interest and work in that field for 10 consecutive years, and as long as they stay current for those 10 consecutive years in repaying back their loans, after 10 years, their loans are forgiven. So instead of paying your loans back for 25 years, you're only paying loans for 10, and so the other 15 are just wiped away.
Sounds good. Good reason. You're doing good work and getting your law school education paid off.
Absolutely.
And there's so much that we can talk about and really get our viewing audience to understand what's going on and how you can get into law school. But if each of you had to give the one best piece of advice to someone out there who's thinking about going to law school, what would you say in about 10 seconds or less?
Start early. Start looking at the schools, start talking to admissions counselors. A lot of people do not meet with us. We have a lot of advice, and there's a lot of wrong advice out there. Call the school, get to know the admissions staff, and see what it is about you that makes you like the school. Plan early, plan to take the LSAT early, apply early. It just greaters your chances of getting in and getting scholarship money.
Wonderful.
And coming from the financial, the money side of it, clean your credit. That is vital. It not only makes sure that you're eligible and qualified to borrow loans from the federal government or even in private loans, but it also makes sure that you're fit to sit for the bar after you graduate, because without good credit, you're not eligible to sit for the bar.
Excellent advice, and I thank you both for being here today. There's so much more we could talk about, and I hope that maybe we can continue this conversation sometime later. Please stay with us. There's more to come on Legally Speaking. I'm Sonia Brown.
Welcome back to Legally Speaking. I'm Kenya Johnson. Today joining us is Jahbari Boynes, a recent law school graduate, and Christine Fleury, a current law school student. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Jahbari, congratulations on your graduation. For a law graduate, what's the next step?
I think the next step is to keep on stepping. I think the important thing to remember is that the end of law school is not the end of your law career. It's actually the very beginning of it. And so the steps after law school are you actually begin applying for the bar exam during the end of law school. You sit for the bar, you pass the bar, and then it's off to the races. So the idea is to know that the road keeps going.
Now, speaking of the bar exam, we've all heard horror stories and about how hard it is. Are there any legal careers that do not require passing the bar exam?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I like to call the law degree a degree to do whatever you want to do. I mean, besides actually pursuing a career as an attorney, I mean, there's CEOs, there's financial advisors, accountants, entrepreneurs. I mean, what law school does for you is not just teach you the law, it teaches you a new way of thinking. And that analytical way of thinking can help you in many areas.
And Christine, how much longer do you have in law school?
I have, I'll be beginning my second year, so 2 more years.
So law school is a total of 3 years?
Yes.
If you go full time?
Yes.
Okay. What are some of the things that you realized when you got to law school that surprised you the most about law school?
I had to change my coping mechanisms. In undergrad, I would just go to sleep, and that really wasn't conducive to law school. So I had to figure out ways to do that, and also the amount of work that you can put in. Before, I didn't think I could sit there for 6 hours and study, but I can, and I've done it multiple times, so it's a good thing.
Okay. Are there support services and groups available for minority students?
There definitely are. I attend Georgia State, and I am secretary for BALSA, which is the Black Law Student Association. They have a group for LGBT, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, Muslim students, as well as many others.
Now, Jahbari, you entered law school after working and being in corporate America. How was it transitioning back to being a student?
I think the transition was actually pretty smooth. The good thing about I took about 6 years off after undergrad, and working in corporate America allowed me to not only experience corporate America, but get a feel for what kind of environment I liked, what kind of environment I didn't like. And so when I went back to school, it enabled me to focus more on what I was trying to do.
Christine, you went straight from undergraduate to law school.
Yes.
And what are the advantages and disadvantages of being a traditional student?
Being a traditional student, the advantages are I'm used to studying. It's what I've been doing for the past however many years. And there's no break, except summer, and that's really not considered a break. The disadvantages are, I believe Jahbari is talking, he has a certain focus. When you're coming straight from undergrad, sometimes the focus isn't there because you don't have the responsibilities and the family and the other things that people who have stepped out into the world and come back to school have. So, but it's good to have them mix in with the whole crowd so you can kind of gleam it off of them and realize, okay, I'm an adult now. I need to sit there and focus and do what I have to do.
Now, Jahbari, you're in the process of applying for the bar exam. Tell us, what is that process to apply, and tell us a little bit about the bar exam itself.
Okay. Well, the bar exam itself has 3 parts. The first part is what we call the MPRE, which is the professionalism portion. You take that during law school typically. The next part is your character and fitness, and that's you getting fit to actually sit for the exam and enter the bar. So that's in regards to financial fitness, as far as having your credit together. That's as far as making sure you did the required classes and the appropriate number of credits in order to sit for the exam. After passing the character and fitness, then you actually sit for the 2-day bar exam. First day being multiple choice, second day being essay questions.
Christine, if a student is interested in a particular field of law, how do they specialize in that field of law throughout school?
It's actually pretty easy. I'm interested in entertainment law, and I stated that the minute I stepped into law school. I talked to career services about people I could connect with, alumni who graduated from Georgia State and are specializing in entertainment law, which bar associations to join, which sections to join. Networking is really the best way to do it, to meet other entertainment lawyers or whatever law section you want to be in. And what else? The classes that you take to help you figure out what it is day to day that a entertainment lawyer does different from a bankruptcy lawyer.
Networking is definitely an important part of law school, and it doesn't end when you graduate law school. You'll be doing that throughout your legal career. Please share with us, what are some of your future plans?
Well, actually, currently, I'm working as a legal assistant for the Waters firm PC. Actually, to kind of piggyback off the networking point that you made, I think that that's huge, actually. I think especially in today's economy with looking out there as far as a job, there are plenty of job opportunities out there. But until you make yourself known and get to know people, there's no way to get to them, you know? And so I would advise for someone that's seeking a legal career that during law school to think of starting your career and marketing yourself as if you're looking for a job. Not start soliciting for jobs, but get to know people and not only get to know about what they're doing in their field, but see if it's something that you want and see if it's a good fit. And so I started that journey about 1.5 years ago, as far as with the attorney I'm working with now. And my future plans are to continue working with her and actually become partner once I pass the bar.
Okay. Christine, what would you like to do?
I plan on having my own practice, so I've really spoken to small firms and solo practitioners about the challenges and the triumphs of being a solo practitioner. And I think speaking with them and learning about that particular aspect of law school and your legal career afterwards is definitely something that I appreciate.
I think that it's great that both of you all have such an entrepreneurial spirit and want to eventually start your own solo practice. That's the true way of you to be in charge of your career and your future in the law. Tell me